This is probably cool. If you're not, you're not. I want to see some cats. Here's some cats. I see a cat. Hey, Scout, say what's up. Scout, say hello, bud. Hey, man, say hello to the guests. Be polite. Gotta be polite, big guy. Huh? Yeah, say hello. He's not much of a talker, this guy. Wow. He is the cool cat. Too cool for school. He is a too cool for school cat, this guy. But anyway, that's my cat. We've got two. Well, we got four. We got four cats. He's the too cool for school. Doesn't like to talk or meow or do much of anything except be really, really cool. But let's go ahead and upload. I got cat hair in my mouth. All right. Cat hair. Yummy, delicious. All right. So let's see what I got to upload. I need to upload and edit this live stream here. Let's see, view channel, edit. And as part of this live stream, I do want to share that we're offering a free trial to Audible, Amazon Audible. That's right. We're going to offer a free trial membership to Amazon Audible. That means that you get Amazon Audible, the membership, for free, for a free trial. And you know, why would anyone want an Amazon Audible membership if they're coming for painting? If you're looking at this stream, you're probably thinking, well, you know, why would I want an Amazon Audible membership? I don't even listen to storybooks. I love to read. I don't like to listen to stuff. But if you do have time, I highly recommend Amazon Audible. I swear, I learned so much about painting and art from listening to audiobooks. And you might be wondering, how is that even possible? How can you possibly learn to paint from audiobooks? And there is an effect that comes into play. There is a thing that happens when you start listening to lots and lots of art books. I believe that it is true that you start to absorb the ideas of people, of artists, especially if you listen to like biographies and stuff. You start to really absorb some of the ideas and the thoughts and the mindsets and the attitudes of artists that you listen to their work from. And here's the piece that we're going to be working on today. Should have put this down first. Let's just pile this down right here. When you can start to listen to art and art history, and you start to listen to all those different things, you can gain so much from it. We're going to save this piece for a little bit. We're going to let it sit and dry. That's what we're going to do. We're going to let it sit and dry. Dry and sit. And while we do that, we're going to wait on this painting. We're going to start on this painting right here. This is called The Creation of Excellence. That's the name that I made up for this painting. We got our first name of the day. We got Corey, who is an 1100 wrestler. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Can you explain to us, Corey, what it means to be an 1100 wrestler? Does that mean that's how much weight you lift? Is that like your total poundage of bench, squat, and deadlift? If so, that's pretty good. It's pretty amazing. But I feel like that would be more from like I would expect that more from like a football player than a wrestler. My goodness. If you can bench squat, if you're in the 1,000, if you're above the 1,000 club for bench squat and deadlift, pretty amazing. Congratulations. That is a remarkable achievement. And I imagine that you're young because of the way you introduced yourself, but you know, maybe you're not young. I know people who are in their 40s that think they're old, and I know people who are in their 50s that think they're old, And I know people who are in their 60s that think they're old, and I know people who are in their 60s that think they're young, and people that are in their 70s and their 80s, and even their 90s that never really give up the youthful attitude. So I definitely think youth is a mindset. All right, so this is the real painting we're doing today. The last piece was just a, I'm just getting that started. But this is the real piece we're working on today. And here we are as we open our art supplies. We're going to get settled in with our painting now. Air out this room a little bit. My cat likes it right by the entrance. So here we go. Let's find a good brush to start painting with. I want to use a brush that's not too thin and not too thick. Maybe go with this flat brush here. Let's see what we can start doing with this flat brush. We're going to go with this nice little flat brush. You know what? We're going to add a little bit more of our red. We want our quinacridone rose. Is it quinacridone rose that I put on here? I don't think it's quinacridone rose. Was it? Maybe it was. Maybe it was a quinacridone rose. Or maybe I used a cad red light. Which red? Oh, which red did I use? I believe we're going to go with our quinacridone rose. And here we go, lay that back in there. I have to tighten up this A here, this letter A. Let's just bring this letter A down a bit. Yeah, I definitely think I used a different red, but that's okay. So we're just painting in the A right here. You know, let's see if we could do some lettering here. We're gonna do some lettering today. This is actually our Mark Maggiore brush. So this is a brush, signature brush by Mark Maggiore. He's an amazing artist. Highly recommend going to look at his work. But absolutely brilliant artist. He's probably one of the greatest living Western figurative painters of Western life alive. Yes, that's right. We're probably one of the greatest, both in technical skill and creative endeavors. He is one of the top. So here we go. We're going to use this brush, and we're just going to go gently into the goodnight. Look to make sure that we keep a nice outline here. There's one little tip of this brush that's sticking up. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that. '23. So Michael Jordan is number 23 here. One of my viewers the other day said I need to add white. Instead, I'm adding an outline. Adding a nice white outline to the lettering here. Let's go with this 23. '23. And let's keep this going. So I'm gonna get a type in, paint into colors USA. And I guess what I'll probably do is I'll go one more time over this with the letters again when I tighten them up. Hope I'm not blocking. And you don't really need to see too close to what I'm doing. I mean, you get the idea, right? I know. So here's the funny thing. I love to watch videos when, you know, it's like just really up close of what the person's doing. But honestly, like when I'm streaming, I feel like people want to see, but also like, is it really like, I think people are, you know, my viewers get the point that of what I'm doing here, which is literally just going really close and creating a nice little outline. Does that require a close-up? I don't think so. US. And I probably want to go over that again. I don't know how many times. I might have to redo this a few times, but we'll see. We'll at least get the initial overlay of this. The lettering around the S looks a little bit too intense. So we'll let that dry, and I think in a couple days we could probably just go back into it. Let's see. Let me see if I could get any more intensity on these letters. A little bit more tightened on these letters as well. You know, right here. I think in the 3. Get into the 3 a bit more. Get into the 2. And I'd like to use our CAD red. Drop in with our CAD red instead of using our quinacridone rose. Quinacridone rose has a bit more of a it's a little bit less vibrant. Quinacridone rose, I want to say, is more like a darker red, CAD red medium or CAD red Maybe cad red, medium. These are all just types of red. There's differences though. There's differences. Are they that hugely important? Only to an extent. You don't really need to know exactly what I'm talking about, but you could tell, like, once you start laying down the colors. Is it really that important? The difference between a cad red and a quinacridone rose? Not. It can be. Depends on how important color is to your artwork. So it all depends. It all depends on you, the artist. Let me see here. I want to go into this USA again and tighten up. The lettering looks like a kid did it, but that's okay. I like my art to look like some of it was made by hand. I know it's a nice flex to say that your painting looks like a photo, like so good that it looks like a photo. It's a little bit of a flex, but I personally prefer my pieces to have a little bit of this like, yeah, this was made by hand. When you look at it, you can go, oh, hey, the lettering could use some work, you know? All right, so, and what can we do about that? We'll probably bring in some blue. I'm gonna let this dry a little bit. We've got the idea of everything. The 23 stands out. Tell that it's that who it is. Michael Jordan, good old Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players to ever live. Forever a GOAT. And then now I want to tighten up the shape of this. The definition in here around his hand. Let's reduce the give his hand in here a bit more color. Let's make this a little bit more red, a hint of red in this color here. I want just a hint of red and pink in this color to get a nice, like, a little bit more red, a little bit more pink, a little bit more red. Let's see. Here we go. And then we're going to add that onto the palm here. And to the tips of these fingers, just a little extra detail. And let's top off the tip of this finger with a little bit of this color, just to signify the shape. And then I want to tighten up the skin tone. I want to tighten up his skin tone a little bit. Give it this capture the hue of Michael Jordan's skin in this photo. Going for like a bit of going for a lighter, just slightly lighter, a lightened burnt sienna. A burnt sienna as a base, but a lightened with some pink, aka rose. And that's what we're going for. Let's see. Find this color here. There we go. All right. So we can definitely blend up with his finger and just make sure that, it looks like there's a color variation between his thumb and the basketball. And then let's see if we can enlarge just give him a little bit more size around his hand here. A little bit more length. Little Michael Jordan. And as far as this hand, I think this hand has some good length to it. Let me see where I can add some of these color variation along the face. Let's go for sienna again. I want to reduce this highlight along the side of the face here. We're just gonna go paint in some of the detail here to reduce the highlight. Okay, let's go a little bit more. I want to tighten up these fingers as well. Try to make them stand out against the backdrop, which go back into our like pink. Try to find like a good red again. A good off red tone. Still a little bit highlighted, but you know, just a little bit different. Capture the inside of his hand. This is a great brush, by the way. Mark Maggiore signature brush. I am very happy about this brush. It's fantastic. Just want to add a little bit of a highlighter on the cheek, a little highlight around the top of the eye here. Add a little bit of highlight around the front of the cheek right here. And then let's see, bring some highlight into the front of the chin. And yeah, I can't really see his facial expressions. You know, you can't really see what's going on his face. So I might just have to like fake some of the eye, fake a little bit of the eye. What's going on with the eyes? When I say fake, I mean like, you know, make it up. There's a little bit that I have to make up here. Make this feel a bit more natural. And go up here. Let's go a little bit darker to capture his hair. And then I'm going to take a break on Michael Jordan. Sometimes I could definitely, you know, what I can fall into the trap of is when the paint's wet, you don't want to overwork it too much. The paint's too wet, because if you overwork it, then you know, you kind of get trapped. I'm trying to find some wet paint that's a nice dark shade that I can color his hair with. And let me see. I'm gonna go into his hair. There we go. And here we go. We're just gonna go down into his hair. So we did also make some stuff up in the sense that this is his. I show a little bit more neck than in the actual, you know, reference concept. His neck appears a little bit more. As long as I could get his hair to show up pretty well, like here. You know, obviously he's got really short hair. So let's see, how can we tighten up his ear too? Maybe add a little bit, just a really nice dark line into his earlobe. If there's an artist that can design like a really good thin brush that lasts for multiple paint sessions, that would be awesome. But I don't think they will because, you know, it's like paintbrushes are, the small brushes are where companies make their money. So good old Michael Jordan. There we go. Where else can we go with this? We got the tips of the fingers. I want to go a little bit more into the tip of the finger here. Let me see. I'm going to go a little bit into this fingertip right here just so we can see the outline of the finger. And then we're going to go into the fingertips right here. And then into the fingertip right here too. And then just to capture a little bit of shadow in his palm. And then let's go one more time to blend it out. Let's see how we're going to blend this out. I might come back to that later. Let me see. Like where this is at. So let me keep this. The hand's about the same size. I think with the angle of this hand, we should be okay. Just have to make a little bit of an adjustment to get the size of the hand, the wrist to match. It does look a little wonky. I don't think so. This is gonna come around. And let's see, what else can we do? We're gonna go. I'm gonna make his bicep a little bigger here. Go along the bottom here. And I think if anything I paint over in the future, it might have to be this hand. Might have to figure out some way to make it better in the future. I don't know if I'm going to keep this hand, but now that I'm thinking about it, it's not too bad. It could be better though. But here we go. Either way, let's move on to this part. I might even be able to do this whole painting with this brush. My goodness, this brush is fantastic. This is an ultimate like painting life hack. I swear, this brush is just so smooth with gentle surfaces. Alright, so I'm going to put this on the side. This is the Mark Maggiorgi's signature brush from Rosemary Co. And what I love about it is this. It's actually doing a good job of holding its shape. But what you can't see, I don't know if it's actually designed this way, but and maybe this is by accident, but it has one little like brush, part of the brush that's a little bit longer. And I don't know if that's just like a piece that won't come off or if that's like by design. But either way, it's helped me to guide my my painting, and it maintains its shape pretty well, and it's like a perfect texture to blend and even form the designs of your painting. So with that said, one thing I think I need to do is I need to elongate these parts of our God figure's hands. So let's go try to find a similar color. I'm gonna go for a off pink orange. It's definitely a color palette that I can use here. I should search for. And let's see, this finger is gonna bend right there, so the other fingers probably have to be a bit even longer. So if I'm gonna go with this finger right here, I'm gonna go a little bit longer on this finger and push his fingers a little bit longer. That's going to come down to right about there. And then we're going to have another finger come down just a bit further. I'm going to add some more mass to it. Add more mass to his fingers. And let's see, how do we do this? Nail. And the tips are going to touch like right there. Tips of the fingers. And then I need one more. I need this to come down just a bit more. Capture this where this pinky goes. And let's see, this pinky is going to come right down right about here. You know what? Bring this down just a bit more. And then later on, if I need to, I can pretty much modify it later on. And here we go. Bring this palm down a little bit. Have some shadow in here. Let's see if we can actually tighten this up with our shadow color. What are we gonna do for our shadow? Guess if I use up the rest of my brown, we might have something. I'm very excited to finally use up all the remaining color of my Van Dyke brown. This brown got a hole in it, like within the first inch of the tube. First like few milliliters, first quarter of the tube. So I've been constantly just trying to get as much paint of it as I can. Fortunately, you know, the way oil paint dries, I think, you know, little holes don't have too big of an effect, but definitely think the hole's too big, you can have some problems. Oh, it's really hard to squeeze out the remaining of the paint here. Let's see. Let's grab a tool. We have a tool for this. Although it doesn't go all the way up. So I have a tool. Let's do this. Here we go. Wow, it's kind of bent. I think I bent this. Look at that. I've been doing this so much. Does it look bent to y'all? It looks like it's bent and tilted this way. I've been using this so much. Good old palette tube squeezer. Nope, it doesn't go all the way up. Come on now. Let me see. Ah, that actually helped a little bit. There we go. Doesn't quite get the full amount out. Got to still use some of your thumb muscles to get the maximum amount. But I think we're almost there. Let's see if I can scrape some of this out with my palette knife. Here's my little baby palette knife. Baby palette knife. Baby palette knife. It's good to have things of all different shapes and sizes, because then you can, you know, there's always a tool for, there's always a use for like a tool. Like there's uses for big tools, small tools, old tools, new tools, broken tools, all sorts of brushes that you thought you would never use again. But this is like, I got an extra like 12 milliliters worth of paint out of this. That's a lot. 12 milliliters of paint is a lot. So there we go. We are done with our Van Dyke Brown. Whew, I thought I would never get rid of this color. So I learned that as far as browns go, as far as brown colors go, Van Dyke Brown is probably one of the least popular for classical painters, classical artists. And what are we gonna find? We're gonna find a brown, maybe a green brown. Yeah, let's try to find like a nice yellow brown here. Mix in our yellow here. Mix in like a yellow brown. Try to find some green. What is this color palette? Alright, let's see how this brush works. We'll go just to create a nice little outline. Let's go like this. Who knows how long I would probably work on this? I don't know. I could probably work on this for a long, long, long time. And then let's see, we want to improve the hand right here. Get some nice deeper shadows. And I want some shadows along the front of the finger. And along the bottom of the thumb. And let's see, we're going to come around. And bring this up right there. Let's try to find where these two parts will meet. And then here we go. Try to create the shape of the hand, bring in some, subtle shadows here. You know what's crazy? So it actually took Michelangelo like 10, 12 years to actually do the Sistine Chapel, the top of the Sistine Chapel. So, whole different ball game. I'm just making this for this entertaining version of it. This version for entertainment purposes. Well, not just for entertainment, but for the challenge, but also entertainment as in being able to demo on YouTube and all that. But Michelangelo did it as a commission. He was commissioned by the royal popes or whoever's at the time. I don't know exactly who they were, but pretty amazing to get a commission like that. It's one thing to get a commission. It's another to just like paint something that already exists. And I find that so fascinating. So creating the darker, deeper shadows in this arm, which are going to help me to, create some more depth in this piece. Create some more of the depth. Subtle depth. I think we've got some okay shadows. And then once we reach a point, we're going to reach a point where we can actually, we can actually start to blend some of this in. Should probably get a little bit more color on my brush. And let's go like right here. Have some deep outline around the top of the pinky here. Let's see. Okay. And now what would we do? Let's blend with the white. Let's see what we can do with like a white blending color. And I'm experimenting too because, you know, I got to realize that this painting was done on a huge like 20 foot by like something X canvas, and you know, trying to paint something like that was given so much detail can really be a challenge when you're painting smaller, because you have more room to add in details on a large painting compared to a small painting. Let's see, we're going to go into here. Yeah, these hands are going to be horrible. I don't know. I might have to just like paint over and re-over and over again. We'll see. We shall see what we have to do to fix this. But after I'm done with this hand for today, we're gonna move on to something else because we have to. I'm gonna try to reduce the hardness of these edges here. Blend some of the edges. Mm. So okay, Tiger, what's up? First you thought you were a cardiac surgeon researching, reaching to this divine being living in a heart. That's cool. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if that was a compliment, but thank you anyway. I'm just gonna everything people say is a compliment. If there's a troll trolling you, it's a compliment. There is, somebody who's taking the time to make fun of your artwork, that's a compliment. That is a compliment. They're taking the time and the effort to say hello. That's a wonderful, wonderful compliment. Even bad news is good news. All right, let's go add a white highlight along the top of this arm here. And maybe add some, it's hard to find the right colors. Like I didn't, sadly, what I should have done was I should have researched the colors of the palette that maybe Michelangelo used for this ahead of time, which would have helped me, and which probably would be helpful to know, because then I could just pick those colors and not have to like try to make it up as we go. But I didn't do that, so now I'm kind of stuck with, well, you know what, you're never stuck, you just gotta adapt, and I have to make it in my own way. It's just the impression. Like, I feel like his hands look kind of, what do I say, like it was made by a man, like they look kind of mannequin-esque. His hands look a bit mannequin-esque. And that's one thing that I'm gonna need to fix eventually, is this mannequin-ness of his hand. But I think it also helped when I start to add more shadows everywhere. Michael Jordan also doesn't have any deep shadows, so that could also affect it too. But we'll see. We'll keep going, and we'll figure it out. Is it a heart? So they actually say, if you actually do research on this painting, they say that it is symbolically like a human organ. What Michelangelo wanted to achieve was to make it seem like everybody was make it all seem like it was a human organ. Symbolically, of course. So if you don't get that impression, it doesn't necessarily, if you get that impression, yes, that's fine. But yeah, look at the original. Go check out the original. And my color is not exactly the same as his. His colors are much more muted compared to my colors. I feel like, that is due to the advent of modern paint. And, the skill level of artists back then, they were able to make such beautiful compositions with just limited muted palettes. I do not have that level of finesse. So my painting is consisting of like trying to find a good combination of colors between many colors. But anyway, enough about me. What's going on? How are you? Enough about me. What about you? So we're gonna go up like this. Let's go bring this up to the muscle group right here. I'm gonna go like that. Maybe eventually I should just paint this in my own way, rather than trying too hard to copy what Michelangelo did. All right, looking pretty pretty unusual right now. So let me see. Let me let me define the face. Let me tighten up this face here and see if we can, you know, once we tighten up the face, I think we can actually start to make some things, start to make this more cohesive, because all the faces around him are just lightly detailed, but God's face is very highly detailed. So I need to, if I can get his face down, you know, we can have a huge part of this pretty much defined. Let me try to find our ochre here. I mean our burnt sienna. We're good. Today was leg day. Today was leg day. Heck yeah. Heck yeah with the leg day. Leg day is the best day. Let's go with the deep brown here. Try to carve out some eyes, some eye details. Let's carve out some eye details. Let's go. Right along the top. Let's see here. Here's a small painting of your cat in a Victorian room on a red pillow, birthday gift to your younger brother. Tiny canvas, had to paint fur, but he pushed you to finish it. Hey, well, hey, you got it done. That's the important part. That is it. You're done, you're done. I mean, you know what? Like, hey, if you ever have a client and they're like, hey, man, we love the painting, it's done. Just, you know, send it on over. You know, are you gonna, can't hold it, right? You just gotta, sometimes you just gotta let it go. The job is done when the job is done. It's good practice. Good practice to know when to finish a painting. Sometimes it can be hard though. It can definitely be hard. It's not an easy endeavor to know when. All right, so we've got this, we've got a lip. It's gonna come around. There's so much detail on his face. Oh my goodness. This guy painted way too much detail. Michelangelo, why'd you paint so much detail on this dang face? My goodness. What were you trying to prove to everybody? That you were the best to ever live? Jeez. You proved yourself, man. Michelangelo has proved himself. It's a lot to prove. So I'm just going for some basic outline here. I'm going to lighten this a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, I guess if you ever plan on making art a career, which I'm guessing you do, you know, it's good to know when to finish. Sometimes I've had clients when I'm like, wow, and they just like love the work you do. You know, it's just like they love what you do. You can always like, you know, try and push further, but it's like they like it. So allow them to like it. You know, don't. I mean, I don't know if your brother liked it, but it sounds like he did. It sounds like he was ready for you to just have it done with and passed on. I don't know how I'm gonna do this face. I'm looking at it. I'm like, there's such a brilliant amount of detail in this face that I'm just mind boggled. I have no clue how I'm gonna do it. It's just this face. Somehow I will. I know I will, but it is pretty mind-boggling. All right, we've got this head, we've got this hair. Let me see how I can, you know, you can start to see the details, but how am I gonna do this mouth? Jeez. I'm gonna do this head. All right, here we go. How do you eat a cow one bite at a time? I think I can bring his nose down a little bit further too. I usually do this thing where I make I usually make the nose a bit too far from the mouth. So I want to give him a nice long nose. Let's go. We're gonna grab our dark brown. Start to create some shadow under the nose here. Now you gotta find me an empty chapel. Psh. Well, I don't plan on doing that. I think this will probably be the last. Never say never. Never say last. But I don't know. I don't plan on making plan on doing religious paintings for chapels. You never know. This is definitely something that, you know, is probably a one-off, maybe, if anything. One of a kind. One of a kind. Well, what's up, Michael Wilbur? How you doing, bud? What's the latest with you? What's going on, pal? How you doing, friend? What's up, guy? What's up, bruh? Bro? Brosif? I think I'll probably raise this head up a little bit into the hair. And then bring this forehead down, bring this nose down a little bit. Interpretation of this painting is a philosophical rabbit hole. Okay. Do you mean of my version of this painting, or do you mean the actual painting itself? Which one are you talking about? My version, this version right now that we're looking at, or do you mean like the version that's on the Sistine Chapel? This is so weird. What's going on? Oh, that's why. My phone is blocking the light, my light source. So it's creating like this weird shadow on my palette, which is not good. You know, crazy thing, Michelangelo had to paint before there was light bulbs. He was doing this before there was light bulbs. He had to paint either with candlelight or in the dark. Let me add some of my darker shadows now. We're going to add some of the darker shadows into the face. And let's see how this is going to manifest. We're going to add a little nostril there. Mouth. Definitely going to be the shadow here. Going to come around into the side of the head here. Right along the side of his face. And let's try to add the shadow in right here. creating some forms. What if I just left these faces like this? They look kind of funny. I almost like it. Life is great. It's Raya. What's up? Won your restraining order. Life is good. Great. Is that number 32? No, it just looks backwards because this reflects. But here we go. Let's. What can I do here? I've got the shadow. Let me see where else I can put a shadow. I can put a shadow going into to shape our God's head. There we go. And now let's see, we're gonna add some more shadow. Let's reduce the shadow on this figure to like a more lighter brown, like softer brown. I used a really like dark value on this part, so I figure maybe we can improve it with some light. It's supposed to be curly. Lighter color here. Go over all the extra dark spaces. Let's go paint right there with the nose and the mouth. What is this going on here? Oh, that's his body. Okay. That's this kid's body. So I can actually blend that down a little bit. And blend this down just a little bit. Bring it down, bring it down. Now let's see if we can add our highlights in. Well, let's go right into this guy's hair first. His arm's right there. I want to go into this guy's hair. And give it some shape right there. be interpreted. Came before time and who invented time. Yellowstone National Park. Oh, meant the original. Go to Yellowstone. Oh, Michael Jordan versus 32. You know what? I probably should have picked the number 32 instead of 23. Interpreted in various ways. Maybe also blasphemic. Ooh. What's blasphemic? My painting? Is my painting blasphemic? Really? Wow. Well, guess I'll have some answering to do. I mean, I don't think it's blasphemic. It's about the creation of greatness. What could be greater than trying to achieve your fullest potential? You know, there's nothing, no greater activity than that. All right, so we're gonna tighten up. Let's see, what do I need to tighten up? I'm gonna tighten up around the shoulder area right here as we go in. Really tightening in with our shadows here. So we're gonna come around like this. His elbow is gonna be a little bit out further. That's the first. Thought it was heart, so God speaks through the heart with you. I know it's called the creation of man, but I don't feel like it is displaying a creation. God is everything we can imagine. Wow. All right. Here we go. It's like a Bible study almost. It's like we're in a Bible study. Just kidding, everybody. It's not, I'm not saying this is Bible study. Just kidding. All right, we found a nice little yellow ochre here, so we're gonna come into here. Hey. What's up, Simba?
Oh.
Little chunky monkey.
Ready to go?
When do you want to leave? Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 4:55 p.m.
Yeah, I'll be ready to go in a minute.
You have to bring your glasses.
I'm painting right now.
Okay, you have to bring your glasses.
Okay. Not.
Hey, Scout! When's the new kitty litter shipment supposed to arrive?
It's supposed to be Thursday.
Okay.
Is that today? Is that
No,
tomorrow?
Today's Wednesday.
Tomorrow's Thursday. Okay.
Well, I got some to tide us over.
Okay, good.
Yes. So my pink bag with the purse is under the pillow.
Okay.
That's good.
You think the cats did it?
Everything.
Cats did it. They do everything.
Scout had my credit card last night.
Really?
Yeah.
Found them with your credit card?
Well,
Ooh.
I had just put it down on the kitchen counter after it came for the train
Uh-huh.
on Sunday night, and I glanced up at the counter, put the credit card away, and he had it in his mouth. And it jumped away. Hungry?
All right, people. Well, today got some stuff to do this evening. So this is a wrap on this painting for now. We're gonna be taking a little break. Music videos, what's up? H Music, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Take care. We're actually gonna wrap this up right now. Some stuff to do this evening. And that means it is time to pack up our bags.
Eat? Eat? No.
It's a good night, but not a goodbye. That's a jingle. That's a jingle. No one's ever heard that jingle, right? I just came up with a brand new jingle. It's a good night. It's not a goodbye. We'll be back tomorrow with more. It's a good night, not a goodbye. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow. That's a song I know. There's all these little specks of stuff on here. I don't know where they came from. I don't know what the heck all that stuff is. How it got there. I don't see any cat paw prints, so can't be cats. Must have been me. Can't blame everything on cats. You can, but you can't. It's a goodbye. It's a good night, not a goodbye. I'm definitely painting over this again anyways, so let me just scrape off. I don't know what it is, like dust mites or something? Like, I can't tell what these things are. I feel like a spider maybe crawled onto this and like their body part came apart piece by piece. That's what it feels like. I wonder how many bugs are on the Sistine Chapel paintings. Alexa, how many bugs are on the painting of the Sistine Chapel?
I don't know that.
Like, surely it's got to have at least one bug trapped in the painting for eternity. There has to be at least one insect on the Sistine Chapel. One speck of dust. You know, it's like, as I'm painting, I'm realizing like how high esteem I hold, you know, Michelangelo's paintings and the Sistine Chapel's paintings, and how high of esteem that we all imagine. You know, we think of it as like this ultimate perfection. But, you know, if we really think about it, there's probably all sorts of stuff that, you know, I'm like, oh, I can't possibly have a little piece of dust on here. But you know what? There's probably dust on the Sistine Chapel ceiling. So, we're going to go with that. Anyway, take care, everybody. Thanks for being here. Let's do the wrap-up shout-outs. We have Corey, the wrestler, Tiger Morph, Michael Wilbur, Ezraya, and H Music, and probably a whole bunch of other people. Let's see, my interpretations. Handing off the ball. Hey, amazing. Yeah, handing off the ball. I like that. I like the sound of handing off the ball. Passing the ball. Passing the torch.